befinden sich im Zuhörermodus.
Hey everybody out there, this is LuraTech. Welcome to LuraTech's webinar on our new product, the LuraTech LuraTech Rendition Server, an enterprise rendition and conversion service. My name is Carsten Heiermann. I'm CEO of LuraTech and will be here today for a couple of specific slides about the license model and something like that. And with me here is Gerd Michels. Gerd, you want to say hello?
Hello, everybody. My name is Gerd Michels, and I'm the product manager of LuraTech. And today I have the honor to present you our newest product, the LuraTech Rendition Server, which is still in its beta phase, but it's getting more and more shape. And yeah, we're quite excited to show all the possibilities and the features and what you can do with it. And we
Looking forward to it.
Like it.
Yeah, sure. Looking forward. Thanks, Gerd. Looking forward to it. Before we actually really dive into and Gerd starts the presentation, I want to give you one hint regarding questions that might come up. Actually, it's two hints. First, just feel free to ask your questions anytime you want. There is a window called questions in your GoToWebinar organization panel. You can type in a question there anytime. We're two people here today, so I try to peek on the questions list all the time. And if we're still in context, we're going to answer it right away. I'm going to interrupt Gerd, ask him a question, whatever, we answer right away. If not, we do a Q&A session in the end of this presentation. When we are through with the presentation, go through the questions. So anyway, it's more fun if you interact and just put your questions as they come into the question windows. At the very end of the webinar, when we are done with the questions as well and dial out of it, you will be presented with a survey, a real quick survey, and we would be really glad if you could use 2 minutes max to fill in the questions. It's really not a lot. To help us get a better idea about our product, our presentation here in terms of a little bit of feedback also, so that we can get our presentations more catered to your need over time and get better. Thank you very much for that already now. And then don't forget to ask questions. And now it's Gerd's time to introduce the new LuraTech product to us. Gerd.
Okay, thank you, Carsten. The first thing what we should define is a rendition server. What the hell is a rendition server? In LuraTech form, we have built a web service which is specifically designed for conversion of massive amounts of data. We did a completely new product built from the ground up, just to make sure that we don't make any concessions on those requirements that we have in a specific enterprise context. So we learned from years in the industry, and this is what we have put into our best in a new product. So what you can expect from a rendition server is, of course, the track-proven LuraTech technology. We're not omitting anything, and we're going to put in even more from our technology. Because it's a web service, the new architectural approach, like service-oriented architecture, gives us the possibility to go into fields of applications that we were not able to deliver before. So now we can go on desktops, we can go on mobile devices, we can bring our power for PDF conversion into completely new worlds. For enterprise deployment, we need to have a solution that is very much scalable, because a rendition server runs in the background and is subject to peak loads, because no one really knows what the other department is doing, and might happen that a lot of work arrives at the same time, leading to a high peak load. And of course, the system should be must be able to deal with these high loads and to give response in due time. Because it has a central function in a company, it should be easy to integrate, so that every department or every tool, software that might benefit from it should be able to use these features. So as the web service is given, it's rather easy to integrate this into other products. Because you can never have one solution that goes for all users, an enterprise solution should be extendable and configurable so that you can adapt the solution to your specific needs. It's even extendable in a way that you can add your own program components, but we'll see more of this later. And of course, because enterprise environment has its own rules of stability and safety, we must make sure that this software can be run in such an environment and that we support the administrators in their job of keeping the system up and running so that they can have all the comfort and information they expect from enterprise software. That's on the left side. You see our new product logo. It's the one-wire form of a transformer. Okay, so a rendition service sounds nice, but how do I know whether I need one? What's the use case of a rendition server? What type of problem is a rendition server expected to solve? So yeah, the first is obvious. If you need a web service because you're not able to perform the conversion on your current site or on the location where you are with your image file, okay. If you explicitly want to separate the invocation from your conversion, if you say I can't really do this because we have different hardware or even the CPU, I'm on a mobile device, I don't have the power for doing all this conversion, for example. Another case might be if you really want to convert the document synchronously on the spot, like you would do with an external library. That's a good case for the rendition server. If you have peak loads, like I told in the introduction, it's sort of giveaway for going for a rendition server. And if you have special file formats, like they're not really into the standard product offers from companies, and you say, okay, I have my own converter for this file format, you can use the LuraTech Rendition Server to include your own file format converter and also benefit from the PDF-A competence of LuraTech in this case. And last but not least is for consolidation of isolated conversion solutions. Because, and then I go to the next slide. This what we see here is based on a true story. It should more or less show how mailroom for outgoing documents could look like. We see here a lot of red boxes, which all represent some tool or a little system. They're all interconnected, and the black arrows show where information, or in this case, some sort of document or a letter is going from one box to the other. And at the different arrows, we have different PDF formats were generated by different PDF interfaces on the red boxes. So in this complete system that might work, might or not, if you have any issue with your PDF, PDF file, it's rather hard or the daring task to find where is the problem coming from and how can I solve this, because these little PDF solutions might maybe not very well supported, or it's very hard to find the company anyway. So in this cloud of little interconnected systems all producing their own PDF, it's a very good case for having the LuraTech Rendition Server, which can convert all your PDF files in one standardized way. So you can make sure that any PDF that goes out from your system, for example, by outgoing email over Exchange, they all have the same company polished PDF file format with the same quality. So you can be sure if it comes from our rendition server, then everything is okay. So that's one case where we see that a rendition server can replace a lot of custom PDF export solutions that, if you really count and look at the numbers, are really high.
Really quick. Good.
Yo.
Yeah. Let me chime in here real quick, because this slide here is much simplified. Truth to be told, in real world, it's even much more complicated with much more connection points. This really drilled down to the minimum to understand it, the highest level of abstraction. So this is from one of our prospects here, partners throughout the product development. They shared with us their PDF, their IT environment with all the different stations, all the different pieces of software where PDF is created. PDF created is in an ERP system. PDF is created in the scanning department. PDF is created because a fax server sends something in. Then it is created for the storage, and it's created when something comes out of the storage. And every time I mention created, and in much more occasions they create software than I just mentioned here, a different PDF tool is used. A different PDF tool that comes with the specific subsystem. So for example, the ERP system has some kind of PDF printer in it. The other system has some kind of other PDF software in it, which is not a good thing to do, because this is a large customer, large IT environment, and enforcing corporate document policies, like making sure that the CI is correct all the time, that the format is archivable all the time, that they follow certain rules that they might need for in highly regulated industries or something like that. It's next to impossible to make sure that your PDFs are always the same if all these different PDF tools are used. And this is therefore a real-world example where we look into implementing the rendition server as a centralized one-stop shop only to create PDFs through a web service for all the different subsystems, and then you have one place where you need to control your policies, and you have one place where you need to make sure that the quality is correct and everything else. Sorry, Gerd, I'm always getting excited and carried away a little bit, because this customer thing here is the best example on what a rendition server is actually really good for. Sorry for that. Sorry for interrupting your show.
No,
go ahead.
Please, Carsten, go ahead. So developers have something like DLL hell, and this is an example of PDF hell. And the rendition server can help solving this kind of problems. So now our next slides are going to dive into the technical parts of a rendition server, what we have on different components, how they are named, and how do they interact. I'm not going to talk about all the names you see on the slides. If you see and you think you understand what it happens, it's okay. If you don't understand anything, don't mind. It's just to put on some few of the names that we're going to be using later, and it makes sense that if you know of some of them for understanding what comes later. So the rendition server is, as I told in the beginning, it's a web service. So the main square is a web service on the managing node. The managing node is the main component of our rendition server. It's where the external world gives a conversion request, and the managing node takes care that this request is being served in due manner and in due time. On the right side of the managing node, we have configuration and conversion web application, which uses our managing node as well as a front end. We see a database symbol below, where the rendition server can use any database for its internal function. Of course, it's for internal use, like for protocol and configuration. It can use any database that's supported by the Microsoft Entity Framework. And on the left, we see a little NAS device, which should mimic a ZAN, is where our rendition server can access files that are provided by reference. So if you are, for example, on a server and you have files on a file share, you can, of course, transfer a reference and not the file through your web service. That's okay, the technical point. But we see in this part is all the components that are into a rendition server and its environment. If we dig deeper into the rendition server, we still have our managing node, but the managing node is just the manager. It doesn't do the hard stuff. For the hard stuff, he has these worker nodes, and they are the ones that do conversion, extraction. They get their jobs from the managing node. They just perform on the work item and then give this work item back to the managing node. And as we can see, the managing node has no access has nothing to do with the files from the ZAN. It's the worker nodes that need to be able to access these files. If you have them, for example, by reference, it's important that your worker nodes can access these files. Okay, one step deeper is now we see in this central case, central box is one worker node. And in the worker node, we have different assembly lines which do the processing. Our idea was that apart from the red stations here, these are the ones that are provided by LuraTech, one should also be able to provide his own conversion components, which are just symbolized here by the green one. So you can interchange your own components with LuraTech components to be able, for example, to generate a LuraTech quality PDF-A file, even if you have your own component sitting in front, just generating this PDF file. So that's what happens in the worker node. And the work items is like a work slip of paper going back and forth, just describing what has to be done on which files. So the managing node issues a work item, which is done to the worker node, which finds an assembly line was capable of performing this request, and then the work item is returned. So as we've seen before in the drawings just in a moment, the structure is hierarchical. We have one managing node on top, and we have several worker nodes which do the hard work. Typically, it's one worker node per server. We are not licensing on cores or CPUs. It's just server-based or licensing, and also the structure. So if you have four worker nodes licensed, you can use 4 massive servers for doing the hard work, the number crunching. Then assembly lines we saw as the basic process abstraction for converting converting files, and we have stations as like one as an essential component working on the assembly line. So given the fact that we don't restrict anything on cores or CPU, we can parallelize our processing wherever it's possible. So we can need the whole power, or we can use the whole power, we can tap into the whole power of the CPU, of the server, everything that's available we can use. We have a possibility to add custom stations for custom conversions. And of course, then you can make our own assembly line types. And there's even another API that we can use to influence on the processing as such, but it's going already quite deep in detail. So that's the structure. Important to know what is a managing node. It's the central manager, and we have the worker nodes, which do the number crunching. And all the rest is technical and internals. Carsten?
Yeah, right. There's many people out here listening to the webinar today who are already users of our products here at LuraTech. For example, most of you might use the PDF compressor as a product. And of course, everybody has the question, now what's different? What's new? Is it different, or is it just the next version of the PDF compressor? No, it's not. The PDF compressor is a product that everybody of you knows out there that processes massive amount of files 24/7 around the clock at 100% load. That's the best use you can put on the PDF compressor. That's why it supports batch-oriented processing. You can have batches of thousands of, for example, scan documents, hit the PDF compressor with it, and it will just really constantly work on it 24/7 all around the clock. And it's designed for full load, full constant load all over the time. You license it by CPU cores. If you need a little bit more power, you add a second CPU core, and so on and so forth. The Enterprise Rendition Server, the LuraTech Rendition Server, is really having a different approach. Not only has it a web service as an interface, but it works document-oriented. So there could be someone in the company who actually hits a button in Outlook saying, convert this email to PDF, and all the button does is it starts a web service request with our rendition server. And this customer, this single user, expects an immediate turnaround time. And that could be some thousands doing that in parallel. While on the other side, the Department for Finance is running the monthly invoice roll in parallel. So we have the same priorities sometimes for this one single specific document as well as large batches of documents. So that can't be done with a PDF compressor, which is really a 24/7 all around the clock tool. This one is really document oriented and highly parallelized and highly scalable. It does scale for that purpose, not only, I don't know, if you have 8 CPU cores in a computer, PDF compressor can parallel process 8 documents. This one here can parallel process on as many servers as you want, using all the CPU cores in there. So this one is really made for massive parallel processing, handling peak loads perfectly. And it also goes one step further. It's organized, it's built to have intrinsic built-in failover features. So when you remember the architecture, a managing node takes a request, hands it out to a worker node number 1. Worker node number 1 gets in trouble, server's in a problem or something like that. It will have an idea of, oh, this failed, I give it to worker node number 2. That's automatic built-in failover technology. Also, it does load balancing technology. It's already built in there so that we can share the workload of incoming requests across all the worker nodes, meaning all the servers we have attached here. PDF compressor really is parallel processing on one computer. Rendition server is parallel processing on whatever you give it, including failover, including load balancing. And on the other hand, also the PDF compressor management goes in a way that you log into your server, start the GUI, look at the GUI of the PDF compressor in order to understand what is the state of the union, what's going on with the PDF compressor. Is it working properly? Is it fully loaded? Is there a job that gets in trouble or something like that? Different with the LuraTech Rendition Server. It has a specific web service interface that is just built to interact on the monitoring and system management level. It can interact easily with products out there which do monitoring of IT infrastructure, for example, Cacti or Nagios, which are tools used by systems administrators in larger IT infrastructure environments to make sure that all the servers play ball. And our rendition server seamlessly integrates with that. Probably we see something about that in a little while. And the PDF compressor also, again, to put it in context, is perfectly designed for most of our users who sometimes really have an urgent need to roll out a new PDF compressor, buying it from us, wanting it be live in an hour or two later, which is perfectly possible. It's an integrated tool, but that also comes with some requirements we can't fulfill with it. For example, it has a fixed built-in workflow. So you can have all your parameters and you can say, do it this way, do it that way around, but then the PDF compressor does it with its built-in functionality in the built-in flow of processing a document. And as you saw the assembly lines here, some slides before, the Enterprise Rendition Server is really rendering to PDF using specific strategies, by using specific assembly lines where you can completely influence the way it is done, the way it is built, how it is built by not only using the built-in stations, and a station might stand for a specific OCR, a specific converting service, or something like that. But you can even build your own custom stations, or somebody, or partner, or we can build own custom stations based on other technology that you need in the context of your document conversion. So it has some sort of workflow in it that is customizable using the assembly lines, and that's very much different than the PDF compressor. So is the LuraTech Rendition Server then simply the better PDF compressor? No, it's not. It's a different application. It's a different use case. PDF compressor is still perfectly suited to do mass conversion, massive amounts of conversions, 24/7, all around the clock, in the context of, I don't know, input management, scanning, in the context of converting incoming continuous flows of documents into archival materials in PDF or PDFA. That's the PDF compressor. The rendition server really is central infrastructure for different kind of load schemas producing subsystems. It's the central PDF generation tool for your whole IT infrastructure with all the the good things and goodies we already mentioned. I'm stealing your time, Gerd, so I want to probably finish with that slide. And once more, encourage everybody to ask questions if you have. Gerd, go on.
Okay, thank you, Carsten. So what can I do with a rendition server if I have one? The main purpose for a rendition server is like converting any format we have to PDF or PDFA as desired. And we know that it can be a host for independent converters or third-party converting tools that we might need. For example, if you have historically WordPerfect files and you need to format them to PDF8, there might be some converter that we can integrate into the PDF converter and rendition server for exactly this job. As a service is quite common these days, but we say also it's a conversion as a service. You just have your installation on your infrastructure in the basement, and anyone who needs to perform conversion or wants to tap into the massive power of the rendition servers can integrate this in his own product or workflow. And because we are going to because the rendition server is for designed from the ground up for enterprise environment, we have this web service that's required for bringing the services to the different departments. We have a scalable infrastructure that can scale out for managing peak loads. We have taken measures that this product is safe to use, so that of course you will not get burned, but in the other way around, if a document is, for example, corrupted, it will not halt the production. So we have taken measures to isolate every conversion, every object as much as possible, so that the whole as a system is running rock stable. And of course, we have this ON operation and maintenance interface on web service basis as well, and our dashboard, which is the front end to this operation and maintenance interface. But the main part are the PDF workflows, where we can define corporate-wide PDF policies, or through these strategies, where we can say a PDF must be of this type, and if there's images, must be this quality, or we have this rasterization with specific resolution. We can set central policies. We can have them defined once, and they are protocol, so that even if they're being modified at some point, you still can see when were they changed. So they're actually like rock solid, and even allow for central testing. PDF optimization and compression is familiar from the PDF compressor. Of course, we've taken our time to incorporate this functionality as well in the rendition server. And the original way of the PDF compressor, going from scanned pages or scanned documents to PDFs and searchable PDFs, is available as well. Splitting and merging scenarios, like you have one batch and every document is separated by barcode, is also one of the use cases for a rendition server. Something that's maybe not so familiar is hi-fi PDF. As you may have experienced, if you have a Word document and you have images which are like technical drawings, and you insert them with a very high quality. It's like very fine-grained and very high resolution into this Word document. As soon as you export this as a PDF, Word at some point rasterizes this image, and you have some sort of scaled down image with not at all the same quality. There are some settings that you can modify to even improve it a little, but at some point you will never get to original quality. And we see a use case for the rendition server as well to re-establish the original quality of this PDF, so that if you have your PDF at the end of your process, it has the same quality imaging as your original Word document has. So this is clear if you say hi-fi PDF, that we're not talking about compression, because at this point we don't care about file size, but we want to have the high fidelity that was in the original Word document. And so it goes on for other documents maybe as well. So another interesting point that we are going to investigate is document generation, going either by extra program that's, for example, generates an invoice on the fly by taking some data from a database table, or we have there are ways for generating documents via template and inserting data from another process, or even by specifying a document in a meta language. The most known one is HTML, and then converting this into a PDF document. So these are things that we are going to focus on in the rendition server, because this is the other ways of going to documents. And in the end, we still want to have this high quality LuraTech PDF or PDF-A. So all these nice things and features, how is this ever all possible? So we know, if we decided to use our SOAP web service technology for interfacing with the rest of the outside world. Just as a small recap on SOAP, the advantage is that it's universally callable. So it's a standard that is not really tied to a specific computer system or operating system, and not even tied to a program language as well. So it's very widespread and easy to use even from other environments. The one main point of this ease of use is that the interface is self-describing. So even if you have no like a header file, it used to be in the old days, or any other information about the interface, you still can communicate with this SOAP web service, because it's able to give its own description of its interface, so that any tool chain that is able to read this this description can build its own communication code. So that's very interesting, because we don't have to take care of all the other programming languages which might to communicate with the rendition server. Using this technology, we are sure that anyone who can use SOAP web services is able to communicate with the rendition server. And as we also discussed before in the little schematics, is that we can have a file in the request payload, so it's going all the way through our web service, or we can process just a request with file references, so that we don't have to load all the data through our web service at this point. Okay, so I know what I can do with a rendition server, and what are the possible integration scenarios in corporate environment. If we have document generators upstream, we could use this output for generating our PDFs. Even, for example, if you have a mailbox agent which temporarily checks mailboxes and just feeds these emails to a rendition server, or we could even imagine using the rendition server from a folder monitor. We just monitors a file share and just puts any file it finds to the rendition server. On the other side, we can also imagine that a rendition server can be used for as a front end for ECM systems. For example, if documents need to be put into PDF-A before they are put in the archive, if it's a policy from a company, then okay, why not use a rendition server? Before these documents are being put into the ECM system, we just convert them using the LuraTech Rendition Server. Or, for example, if files needs to be put on a share, or even if this conversion is part of an email chain or an email generation chain, that we say, okay, after the PDF has been converted, after the document has been converted to PDF, we just might as well send it further. And then the last possible way to integrate a rendition server is when it's really in the middle for central file conversion in any process. If we have, for example, an ERP system where where documents need to be converted for before they're going to send out as an invoice, or if we have, like the case before, remember our schematic with all the red boxes where we need a central policy-based PDF preparation. That's one way to use a rendition server. Or if we have like a general workflow system, and at some point in the workflow we want to convert these documents to a PDF format. Other use cases are where where the rendition server is intended to replace little document preparation tools, where, for example, print spool files are being analyzed and some sort of document templates are being generated by this. So it is all these little document tools might be a good candidate to be replaced with a rendition server. And because SOAP brings our PDF conversion power to any SOAP-capable software or device, then it is possible now for it's now as a standard LuraTech product to convert your documents even from desktop application. And I'm going to show in a concrete example. I'm switching to another computer. One moment, here we are. So now I'm on a server where I have my so it's not. I'm just issue with. So we have here an Outlook installation. Unfortunately, it's in German, but I think you know from the buttons what it might mean. So imagine I'm creating a new email, and I just adding some attachments. So if I go to see, imagine I'm in a sales department, and I want to create an offer, which is going to be sent to our a potential customer. So I have some Excel sheet where I have my calculations, and I have general sales terms and conditions. And I think, okay, I want to send this in an email, and I'm going to insert these as an attachment. So as you might know, Excel sheets have very often these company private calculation formulas in them. And if we are going to send it out to our potential customers, we actually don't want this information to be available. So one way to scrub these documents, or to make sure that they are completely internal information free, is to convert them to PDF. Of course, I could use the standard Office functions for converting these documents to PDF, either with Excel or with Word directly. Or I can imagine, and this is a demo function, so it's not part of the rendition server product, but I can imagine including a button. This is like a placeholder for other applications, and say, okay, I want to convert these documents that I currently see here. This allows me to select or deselect any attachment. So if, for example, I don't want to convert a specific file, like a binary file or a zip file, then I say, okay, convert.
Now, in this moment, the desktop client really connects through the web service with the rendition server. The rendition server has its local policies in place. We can make sure that corporate identity is saved and everything else. Okay, just wanted to bridge the time it takes, but it was quick. Go ahead, Gabe.
Yeah, so this means that at this point, the only software you need on your desktop clients is this little add-in software, which is able to communicate with the rendition server. You have no PDF printer, you have no huge library with other converting tools on it. You just include some code which is able to call our rendition server web service, and you can tap into the vast power of the rendition server, just one click away. So that's an example. At this point, I could see whether it's the document is okay. Okay, it's a PDF. It's even a PDF-A. This is fine for me. I close it, and if I say okay, then it will replace the original documents with the converted ones. So this is just an example to show how what scenarios are possible by using a conversion from a rendition server. The only thing required on this desktop software is this little add-on in Outlook. You could imagine creating similar buttons in ERP software or any other business line of business software. So that's just that's one example. And no, I don't want to save it. The other one is when we, for example, is this one. Oh, so this is a little conversion client that is part of our product. It's not intended to be used as a general way of using the rendition server, because rendition server is a web service. But for some cases, it might be just plain handy to be able to convert some files on the fly, because it's intended to be minimalistic. We don't have all the switches, the bells and whistles, and the power to influence our conversion. So that means that the software behind this little app is taking some decisions on behalf of us. So it's able to see what type of file it is, and it can drag and drop in it. This uses the same web service as we saw before in Outlook. So for example, if I open, then I'll see this email being rendered into PDF.
Same web services used, same policies apply, so wherever it comes from, it will have the same quality, same standard PDF output if you want it to, if you connect to the same strategies and whatnot.
So even the advantage of this one is that you don't even need to install anything on this. This is a web client, so it's very easy for in the beginning to test some documents which you want to make sure whether they can be converted as or not. So it's just a little add-on to test or to verify, but it's not intended as a main production tool. It's just a little demonstration tool, part of our product, to show how conversion works and just to make some quick conversions on the fly, if needed.
Yes. And how to use the PDF, the rendition server, by the way. So these things are part of the distribution to also give you an idea on how to integrate it if you want to then do the right and real things, like integrating the PDF rendering in your, I don't know, ECM system in your archive, the PDF conversion of your, I don't know, SAP or other ERP software. Then you can look into our samples here on how to possibly interact with the rendition server, which is pretty quick, pretty easy and straightforward, because it is a web service after all, but those samples help to understand real quick how to do it.
Okay. I move on to the next part. Is about enterprise readiness. Of course, we see by the architecture it's centralized, so it makes it easy to manage. Scalability is guaranteed by its easiness for adding worker nodes. It's just like start a server with the worker node, which itself connect to the managing node and automatically engage in working on work items. We have taken care to be able to offer a comprehensive file format support, and with the high quality and high throughput known from LuraTech in the past. We paid attention that installation can be done by scripts. So even if you are generating virtual machines on demand, for example, you can install a rendition server automatically. So it's no need for having any virtual machines with a already installed worker node for peak loads. Configuration is done by our configuration app, which we're about to show you next. We have our operation and maintenance web service, which means that all information that we're going to see in our operation and maintenance web application is also accessible through a web service. This means even if you don't want to use our dashboard, you're completely free to use whatever tool you want for monitoring the rendition server. And some part is also done in XML configuration files. Not everything is done through the GUI. But okay, for operation we take care, of course, for working with real life situations and like network outages or lagging or high loads. We know how to handle corrupted files so that one rogue file will not jeopardize the whole company. Our system is self-monitoring in that processes that seem to be hanging are terminated and error codes are returned to the calling application. we have a live dashboard in our operation and management app for those who don't have external monitoring infrastructure. So you don't need to put in additional infrastructure if you don't want to. We have performance logs for seeing how the system is performing, for even doing stats if you want to. And we also have possibilities for accounting. So if at some point you need to charge some departments for using the rendition server, this information is also available if you need to. So now we move on to the operation and maintenance console. It's on. Oh, here it is. That was the Outlook one. I close, and here. I need to log on again because it was timed out. So this is our home screen, or the main dashboard from our configuration and monitoring web application. So we see that is currently the beta software. Will run for 3 months. We have seen, there was no activity in the last 5 minutes, so no requests, no successes, no failures. And the interesting part starts here. We have a managing node running on this server. We have a worker node also running on this server, and we have another worker node running on another computer. This is actually my laptop. We can see that we have the physical memory available, memory usage. We can see whether it's active or in maintenance mode. Maintenance means that it's logged on, but it's not really participating in working. So it's like sort of idle. It's known to the system, but it does not participate. This worker node is in the active mode, and is if I would issue a conversion request, this is the one who's going to do the work. And of course can go to maintenance, can go back to active. All these a managing node and a worker node are implemented as a Windows service. So they are started when the system is rebooted and can be started or halted with common Windows service tools. This also means that for a managing node and a worker node, you don't explicitly need IIS. We have our web services directly implemented into the managing node and in the worker nodes. The next tab is about configuration, where we have first is the version information. We have the possibility, the configuration is tracked in different versions. And because this is a fresh version and I didn't change anything, we have still in version 0. But other settings here, if I make modifications, then they will be put in a protocol and can be tracked back to a specific point in time where someone has changed the system. We have
that's, by the way, really important for making sure that you have audit trails. So when you need to document in a regulated industry or something like that, what actually happened to your, for example, archival material, you can always go back and see that at some point the conversion of your archival material was changed for a reason, who did it, when was it done, and so what's the difference between those who are archived today and those who have been archived a year ago or something like that. You can see from the rendition server what strategies have been applied in terms of the conversion. So many companies need that audit trail safe treatment of conversion. Okay, sorry, Gerd.
No, just thanks for intervening. Okay, just skipping a bit, but days to keep entries in the request protocol. Every request that's coming in is being kept in the logs for 21 days. It means that you can also trace back if a specific conversion request from a specific system, what happened with it. So it is configurable how long these logs are kept. Dispatcher configuration, it tries 5 times to dispatch before it's going to permanent error. Distribute is like round robin. It will distribute work on the available worker nodes. The other one is like fill, that is tries to fill one node and then one worker node before going to the other node. But the default is on distribute, and that's okay what we have now here. Performance protocol, the interval is in milliseconds. That means that every second is sampling these specific metrics. So this takes some performance from the system. If you don't really need all this data in so much a high grain, then you can put it to 5 seconds or to 10 seconds. But for the moment, we leave it at this. And all these nodes are, all these probes, actually, it's a probe. The probes are activated. I can deactivate or activate them if I want to. And the performance protocol is only kept for 3 days because it might blow up the database. That was for the managing node. You know, the guy who's in charge. Worker nodes are all created equal and all have the same configuration settings. They all have the same capabilities. We're not saying this worker node is can do OCR and the other cannot. All worker nodes are created equal. They also have their own performance protocols and they can be configured as well. The last step is operation and maintenance service configuration, where we define how these how long the different values of the probes are stored. We have 2 ring buffers, but okay, there's a detail. It means you can configure how long this data is kept and how long the data is kept actually. That's for the configuration. Strategies, as Carsten already indicated, is how you can how you can specify a certain process on how your document needs to be converted. So you can, they have a name, they have a specific version as well. If you modify them, the version numbers will increment. You can add a comment to it, what it actually means or what can be done with it. They have even history, but for example, the history of this one is just one version. If I would modify this, I can see a list of different modifications as well. Also, again, to make sure that everything is still like for the one, to be able to see whether the system has been modified or tampered with since the last time you configured it or monitored it. That's strategies. This is also where all the power and the flexibility lie to implement your own custom strategies and custom stations. The graph view is the fancy one. It's just plotting the CPU load from your system in a 1 second resolution and a 1 minute resolution. We see, for example, start again. Here the managing node, what's going on there. We have the worker node on the server, which is pretty idle, and we've seen that the worker node, which is, as you remember from the other screen, is actually engaged. This one was in maintenance mode, so this is practically doing nothing, and this one is idle and is ready to take work and is at a little bit higher values here. So that's the information you can have directly in the LuraTech Rendition Server, Operation and Maintenance Console. The same information is available through web service and can be visualized in any other tool like SET, Nagios, or Cacti. So that's okay. That was for enterprise readiness. Yeah.
Next slide.
Yep.
Exactly. So I might take over here. It's a long talk for Gert, and you also have to make sure that we finish it up on time. So let's be quick. Operating system supported. This is the one operating systems that LuraTech Rendition Server runs on. You know that you can call it from any other operating system, including mobile and whatnot, but actually when you have to buy a server to run the LuraTech Rendition Server on, it has to be a Windows server. In these versions as we mentioned it here. And it's tested with Microsoft SQL Server at the very moment, but we do use Microsoft Entity Framework to approach the database. And if you have certain corporate policies on databases, like we're an Oracle shop or something like that, as long as it supports the Entity Framework, which most of the famous databases do, it is something that can be done. Okay. Make it short and switch to the next slide, please. Mm-hmm. Because the next slide is one that I really want to bring across. It's a constantly asked question, so we have been we went proactive and put it on the slides already. What's the licensing model of an enterprise rendition server? If you think about a product like that really caters the need of larger infrastructures, larger conversion infrastructures, and many IT subsystems all at once. it might be that you really started out small, started with one subsystem, I don't know, the monthly roll of invoices to be created or something like that, and then you put project by project in there, and then you build it up in all the different variables that we offer. That's why we do have a several tiered license model. Our license model stays the same, just as you know it. So we charge a license fee one time plus a yearly maintenance fee. We don't have yearly or contingent or whatever. It's a one-time license fee plus a yearly maintenance fee. That's the licensing. And if you start it out small and then grow it over time, and you won't be punished for that. We do have a so-called fair licensing policy. So in other words, when you upgrade from level A to level B, you just really pay the difference between those two levels and nothing extra, no premium, no surcharge. So when you end up on a level of, I don't know, 8 worker nodes and 48 million pages per year cap, in the end, you don't pay a penny more if you buy that all at once or buy it step by step. So that's what we call the fair licensing policy. And talking about worker nodes as well as pages per year and something like that, this is how it scales. The small project has to have an entry-level pricing so that you can get it started, and then you put more on it and you need more, and therefore also you need to pay more over time. But when you started real small, you might just have the need for one worker node, one conversion server, in other words, that runs on the same machine as the managing node. So we do offer a licensing that offers you 1 or 2 or 4 or 8 or an unlimited number of worker nodes, those working horses, as you know that. You can start it out small for an entry-level pricing, for example, for one single job that you need to have done. And the moment you say, I do need now at least a simple failover mechanism, I do need two worker nodes, you can upgrade to that. And then you put more on it and you need to have more parallel processing ability all the way up to an unlimited server farm of servers for real high throughput. You can scale it by adding additional worker nodes. We have it in step 1 worker node, 2 worker nodes, 4, 8, or unlimited number of worker nodes. And the second level where it scales is really where it comes to some sort of production. Actually, what the rendition server does, it creates PDF files on the output side. And again, here you have entry-level pricing for the smaller projects. For example, you get a license to produce 3 million pages output PDF every year, year after year, for a one-time license fee and a yearly maintenance. Then you take on the next project, and you can then upgrade it to 6, to 12, to 24, to 48 million pages a year as a cap. Every year again for a one-time license fee. And also here's an option to really get rid of all the page counting and have an unlimited license. We offer evaluation packages that includes a piece of demo software for a limited time, but also at least one form of training. We do offer it with a half-day online training so that you get your system administrator as well as some users up to speed and know how to handle the product and understand it and give them a head start in evaluating the product. And we also do offer it with on-site training. So we do offer it with an on-site training that has the purpose of transporting the same information, getting your people up to speed, getting you up to speed, but then in addition also work together on the installation of the demo software in your shop. So that is the target of the on-site training. Both are available, and of course also everything else that you need in an enterprise environment, for example, a test and integration, a deployment, a development server, as extra instances of the rendition servers are also available at much lower prices than the production machine, obviously. Yeah, do we have more?
Yes, the last one, the better one.
Yeah, so one question we had when we did this webinar in the morning in the German version German language version was what's the status, what's the general availability, when will this product be shipped? Because it's not yet out in the market. We are in the later part of a beta phase right now. So we still look forward to you guys approaching us and asking us to become a beta partner. So the beta software is available. It has reached a pretty stable, pretty complete software and product status right now. But we're not much looking for partners who go through it and find bugs and report bugs to us and something like that. We're really looking for partners out there who want to get their hands on the product real early and give us some feedback on what you guys are missing, what you guys love about the product, and give us more guidance on how we should go on with the roadmap of the product so that it perfectly suits your need. For that, we still invite beta partners into our beta program. It doesn't come with a lot of requirements other than to sign an NDA with us, and then we can talk about the product. We would love to invite you all to talk about the product. General availability of the product is not that far away. It will be in January next year. So that's only a couple of weeks out from here. And of course, from that point on, we still invite everybody to talk with us about the product, really take a close look at that. And I can promise that the first movers get the same benefits that the beta users get, and that is a product that fits perfectly. Your missing feature will be addressed. You get a gold status in high and support priority, and you obviously also get a very, very good offer for the product. With no obligation, at the end of the beta phase or the early stage evaluation, you come up with the idea that this product really suits your needs. You get a very good offer, much below the price list, if you support us throughout the beta phase with your valuable input that we are looking for. And thank you very much. Join us, and we would love to work with you. Yeah, thank you for your attention. Thanks for listening to us. When you want to contact us about the product, further inquiries about the beta phase, becoming a beta member or whatever, our email address as well as the phone number is on the screen right now. Thanks to Gerrit for introducing the product to us.
Thank you, Carsten, for assisting.
Yeah, no problem at all. You did the big job today. So, and we are finished with the official part of the webinar. I apologize for being over time. I hope you could still see it till the end and listen to us. If you need to leave now, there won't be much more additional information that we present, but we do have a limited number of questions. And the official part of the webinar is over, but we are going to address a couple of questions right now in addition to the webinar. So, Gerrit, here's one question that's definitely for you. It's a question about the web service. Is it a synchronous or an asynchronous web service, and does it require the files that need to be converted as well as the results that are produced to be transported through the web service over the network? Very specific, very technical question, but I guess you can perfectly answer it, right?
Yes. Of course, the web service is synchronous, but if you need an asynchronous one, it might not be hard to implement this on your client side. And for the second part of the question, it's defined by the way you specify your files, whether they are being passed on as a payload in the SOAP message itself, or when it's passed on as a reference. So you have always these two possibilities at hand just to decide what suits you better. If you're in the server, in the backend, then you can mostly work with references. But if you're on a mobile device which is not in a domain or even very far away, then it might make sense to put the document into the payload of your SOAP messages.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. So both options. PDF compressor in the good old days, and the good product has just one way, and that's by reference. By reference is a really good thing if you want to save on overhead, on transporting time through the network, because the servers are anyway close to each other. Very good thing to transport it by reference. But for example, the Outlook example that we saw there, the file originates out of an email context and doesn't have a URL on a file server that the rendition server can address or access. So in other words, in that case, the payload goes through the web service, which is a new mode, impossible with a PDF compressor to do. But I told you already that these are two different products for different use cases. Okay, there's another question that I don't like, but I have to pick up and I also have to answer it. It's regarding the price. Every time we give away more information about our licensing models, it's immediately followed with a question regarding the pricing. Yeah, so first information, the price list is created. And if you go under NDA with us as a beta partner, we are ready to share it already completely right now. For those public information, this will go out as a video recording as well. I might just give a little limited information. One point I might want to mention is that an entry-level project that we just defined on the slide before, that you might need to get your first project off the ground and get it started. You can expect licensing costs of the rendition server below 10K. So that really should help you getting it started. But don't expect that to be your price tag when you really roll it out enterprise-wide. I think you can understand that it scales up then depending on how much you need. Yeah, here's one more question. I have to read it. Prioritization is the question. Depending on the current load in the system, in a larger enterprise implementation, those jobs of rendering documents may need to be prioritized, depending on the load of the system. And the question really, Garrett, is how do we build our queues in the rendition server?
So currently, there is all come at first come, first served. But this is definitely something that we are planning to address in the next steps of our development. So we know this is an issue, of course, because there are things that are very urgent and other things that might be queued for another 5 minutes or 10 minutes or half an hour maybe. So that's something that we are definitely going to address. But currently, as the product is, it's first come, first served.
Yeah. So, and version 1 in January will be first come, first serve, I guess, but then we do have it on our roadmap in a very foreseeable time to add to that. Our product is perfectly created for that. We can, giving the distributed infrastructure that we use for converting documents, we can very easily add a little very thin application layer in our load balancing to add prioritization to it. And LuraTech itself as a company and our engineers do have lots of experience with priority management system from both our products, PDF compressor, but even more so from the Dockyard product that some of you might know, which is also a product that highly depends on intelligent prioritizing and load balancing. So something to come in a foreseeable time, and probably the one who asked this question should join our beta program. I think we could have very valuable discussions together. Then there's a question about performance a little bit. I'm not sure we can answer it. I'm not sure even sure I understand it, but I can try. How many servers or licenses would we expect to be needed in an environment where 1,000 jobs per hour are handled? Ooh, that's a difficult question. Gerd, are you able to answer something on the top of your mind, or should we take this offline and think about it a little more and specify it a little more?
I think it's very difficult to just to give a number on it. What exactly is a job? Is it a one-page document or is it a 100-page document? And on the other way, what operations are expected to be performed on a document? If it's just putting an image into a PDF file, it's a lot more faster than OCRing a document. So this is a little bit difficult to put any numbers on exactly this question for 1,000 jobs. And if you can come back with more concrete examples, then we can provide some test numbers for it, and we can advise you on what is technically possible for this kind of jobs. But currently, it's very hard to give any number on it, so I'm refraining from saying anything.
Yeah, yeah. Here's a follow-up question to that. And the one who asked the question, we're going to be in contact with you guys. And let's discuss that a little bit more, because that includes a lot of specific that might not be of interest for the general audience here, to figure it out what the specific performance in this specific situation of yours might be. Okay, I think we're heavily over time, so I appreciate for those, and most of you did, staying with us till the end. I take it as a sign that you're interested in the topic. If you're a little bit more interested in the topic, stay tuned, read our news, look at our next webinars, and also get in touch. Just let us discuss about the product and the possible use for both beta phase right now or as an evaluation starting in January. Then we can figure it out the best way, whether it suits you or not. And thank you very much to stay today. Thanks again to Gerd for doing this presentation here today. And I hope we can welcome you in one of our next webinars here at LuraTech. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.